So Ovasitol, I actually have like a promo code with them and everything. I've been taking it for a very long time, but I haven't in the last month or so. Let me show you the container. Of course, it's in the back. Let me grab my stool. Because I can't reach the top of my cabinets, so I can show you what it looks like. Oh, shoot. So Ovasitol is what this is called, and basically, gosh, this is my life. It is an inositol supplement that has like the magic ratio of the two inositols or whatever that your body needs, and it's supposed to help with. So it's like, let's see, 2,000 milligrams of myo-inositol and 50 milligrams of D-chiro inositol, which is the body's normal 41. And this is a very popular company. A lot of even like the PCOS influencers will like push the product and everything. And I don't know if I can do that anymore, because I was reading that the ingredients, and the darn thing has maltodextrin in it. So if you know anything about like stevia or even like sucralose or anything like that, like they're very concentrated forms. And so when you get like those big bags of Splenda or even like the big bags of stevia, like those are like no-nos, because really they take maltodextrin, which is the granular form, which is those little granules, they look like sugar, and it's just barely coating it with the sweetener. So basically what they've done is this packet is filled with maltodextrin, which is made from corn, which maltodextrin has been known, actually the GI scale on that, it's like, I want to say 100, and sugar's only like 60 something. So it will spike your sugar much higher than sugar will. And so, and it says the ingredients, myo-inositol, D-chiro inositol, and then maltodextrin. And it's the last one, but there's only 3 on here. So it's like, I've looked at it a little bit, and I'm like, because that is one thing that I have learned, especially if you are trying to eat low GI, eating clean, or just anything. Like, I cut out the maltodextrin well before I was even trying to go completely sugar-free and just, be very clean. But I feel like for the sake, before I can say that I'm done with this, I need to test it. So, but I've been scared to test it the last week or so because I don't want to jack up my insulin levels. Because one time in like the last like 2 or 3 months, I had cake and my fasting glucose levels were high for a whole week. Like, it threw my body off for a whole freaking week. Like, it was like 5-6 days, like pretty much, well, until it started coming down, like ridiculous. And I told Nick, it's not worth it. It's just not, for all the hard work it takes to bring it down consistently. Yeah. So how much it actually is in here and how much it would affect, I don't know. But just like I tested the Shakeology, I actually need to make a video on that, because I did test Shakeology for like 4 or 5 days. And very surprisingly, it's very keto friendly. And the reason why is because it's extremely low GI. But this here, I'm going to have to test it this week or next week. I really don't want to, but this is like the leading, the leading supplement for PCOS out there. And it's got maltodextrin in it. So there are companies out there I've seen them on Amazon, and they have their own like websites where they have like the myo and inositol and the D-chiro. It was the 40-to-1 ratio in capsules. And I did get a bottle of capsules from a company that I guess I could try it, but I don't know. But it's supposed to be just the inositol. There's no maltodextrin. There's nothing There's no fillers. It's just in like these little capsules. And it's interesting. Their recommended dosage is actually half of what this Ovasitol is. Let's see if they're going everywhere. So anyway, so that's something that I plan on being a human guinea pig for again. But I always like to know just for myself, because even if I guess it does screw my body up for a week or so, I know like that I will have my answer and I won't always have to wonder, if that makes sense. Anyway, so yeah. So that is kind of, I don't know, do any of y'all take this?
I take this one.
Oh,
have you seen this one?
Oh yeah, the sweetener.
This is the one that I use for everything, and the ingredients in it is just organic erythritol, organic stevia leaf, and that's it.
Okay. Yeah,
and the ingredients
I think I've seen you post about it before.
This is like my go-to for everything, and it's actually this is the granular kind, but you can get it to where it's flaky for baking. Mm-hmm. But this kind, it's 1 cup for 2 cups.
For that, you can actually throw it in like a NutriBullet or a blender or a food processor and make it into like powdered sugar. It's
actually the same consistency as sugar would be. I mean, even just to look at it, it's the same. But
coated the erythritol with stevia.
I didn't hear you.
Well, what they've done is they've taken the erythritol, which does have a granular form, and they've coated it with the stevia. And if you have erythritol in its natural form with nothing else added, a lot of people don't like it because it can have a very cooling effect on your tongue. It's kind of like eating like an Andes mint or something like that. So a lot of times the stevia, the bitterness of the stevia will kind of, they work well together, the erythritol and the stevia. Have you noticed the cooling effect? Like if you...
Yeah, I do get that. Like if I put just a little bit too much in there, I can tell because I will taste that. But other than that, if I get, just about the right amount, it's fine. But if I go a little bit over, then I'm going to know because it's going to have that weird taste.
Mm-hmm. And I've noticed even with erythritol, like with those pecans that I made.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to do that.
So I made them the night of, and I was tasting, and I was like, oh, like I could taste that minty, like I don't know, like it's just this cooling effect. And then the next day, it was like gone. I was just like, oh my gosh, these are like 1,000 times better. I mean, they were good the night before, but it was just like, girls, those were gone in like a day and a half, like no joke. So,
what's that
brand? Anyway, so I wanted to just make sure, who needs a success partner? I plan on making a post to make sure everybody has one. Does anyone need one? Andrea, I had seen a comment where you did. Do you have one now?
I don't have one. But me and Amanda,
which one?
Porter, had been talking. She has a partner, but I'm literally in contact with her all day. Like that was the greatest pairing I think you could have ever done. So we joked, and it was funny because I had sent a message right as she was like, oh, I was about to say that. So I kind of just figured I'd check in and tag with her and kind of do my own thing, but still have someone to help keep me accountable.
Gotcha. All right. If you decide that you want like someone extra, let me know. Because I do believe there's like 2 or 3 that haven't spoken up. But I understand like sometimes some people don't need that level of accountability, whether they are traveling a lot and they feel like they don't want to like half-ass it with someone else and like leave someone else out in the desert. So if you change your mind, let me know, because there may be someone out there, or I'll put you on my speed dial. So I want to make sure that everybody had a success partner. Make sure you change phone numbers, emails, whatever, text. Feel free to do weekly calls. Like one of the very first challenge group I was in was for a Focus T25 3.5 years ago. And that's actually a program that Judith is about to start. And one of the ladies in there that started the same time that I did, she actually became a coach, and we became success partners, is what we call it. We call it success sisters. We can call it whatever the hell we want. And to this day, we still meet weekly. Sometimes like more than that, like on the phone. And we are completely different. Like, I am from the South. I've got 6 kids. I'm at home. I homeschool, whatever. And like, she is corporate America, 6 figures. I mean, like, well, she's retired now, but she's in her 50s. She loves to work out. I hate to work out. Like, I love doing social media stuff. She hates social media stuff. Like, we couldn't be more opposite, but we get along so great. And her name's Phyllis. So if you all ever see her on any of my stuff, that's who it is. She's amazing. Also, so if you haven't sent your pictures to me and your measurements and all this stuff, please do that. And that's just kind of a level of accountability. I'm not going to share them with anyone. And I think that kind of gives you a starting point. And if you haven't decided on a program to start, whether it's a meal plan or just fitness, because I know some of you are just doing the meal plan, some of you are just doing fitness. I just encourage you to try to pick something at least within the next 3 or 4 days so that you can have a beginning and an end point. And also with your pictures and your measurements and your weight, don't forget to submit that to the Beachbody Challenge, because not only will you get like free, like I think most programs do like a free t-shirt, but like if you do the 3-day refresh, I think they give you a free water bottle. If you do like size, I think it might be like socks or something, but most of them are like free shirts. And so what you do is you submit your before, you submit your after, you get a ton of free shirts, and you can actually earn a lot of money going through it and like with your transformation. One of my friends, she actually has PCOS. She's lost over like 120, 30 pounds in the last 1.5 years with Beachbody, and she's won over $26,000 just by her transformation alone. So like it is legit. It works. Like Phyllis, like I was saying, my success partner, I think she's won $1,500. It was either $1,000 or $1,500. So like it is legitimate. So make sure you do that at the beginning and the end. You just go to beachbodychallenge.com, upload your stuff, and you're good to go. Also, so one of the things that I wanted to talk about that I had posted was about meal planning and prepping. So some of you had commented on the post about just like how you felt like whether or not you were in between, like some of the different types. And if you didn't see that post, there were basically 4 different types of meal plan or meal prepping that I talked about. And I am a true like believer that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I am one of those people that if I haven't planned out my meals or at least have a quasi idea, like I stress about it. And I end up thinking more about the food and trying, like, it becomes an obsession, like, oh gosh, I don't know what I'm eating. I don't want to eat bad. I don't want to fall off the wagon, and create that cycle of self-sabotage because I've screwed up or I've fallen off the wagon. So I do encourage you all to go to that post and look at some of the pictures, but there's like buffet and batch prepping. There's container meal prepping, pick one prepping, and mason jar. And I always recommend, if you're just starting out, to do like the pick one. So basically, and this is kind of how I still do a lot of my meal preps, and then I kind of go and gradually like do some of the others. So if you're brand new, what I would do is I would probably pick like the hardest meal of the day for you. Or I would pick snacks. I would pick one time of the day, or like one subject area for you to focus on for meal planning and prepping, because this isn't like a sprint. Like, you don't have to have it all figured out even in like 1 month. So what I typically do is I plan my dinners, because I know for breakfast I can always have eggs. I can always have, I don't know, leftovers or whatever. Like I know for lunch I can always have lettuce wraps. I can have chicken salad. Like, I always have in the back of my mind that I have certain things that I can do, and I will make those in bulk. So, like, I believe before I've done my chicken salad in bulk, and so I always have those in the fridge. and other odds and ends that usually like Sunday or Monday night, like once I get off here, I already know that I'm going to be making like a bulk group or a bulk recipe for cloud bread, because enough for the week. And I'm also going to be doing some new grain-free tortillas, a recipe that I tried like a week or so ago. And all it is egg whites and coconut flour, and you can add whatever spices you want into it, and it's amazing, like life-changing. So I'm going to be doing those tonight to kind of hold us through the week. So those are certain things like I will do in bulk. And then what I'll do is I'll pick out 1 or 2 dinner recipes, and I'll make enough to where I'll have 2 to 3 servings. And that way I know I've got dinner for the week. So it really, once you figure out what type of planning works best for you, it does get a lot easier. Well, it doesn't get easier, you just get better, because it still takes work. You just have to be more intentional about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what I would like for you all to do is, in the group tonight, I would love for you, like I can make a post. I would love to know what are some of the things that you are planning on eating this week. So you could just say, I'm going to plan my snacks out. And that's fine, because we're all in different parts in our journey. You may say, all right, I picked out 3 recipes on Pinterest, which, I mean, it's pretty like boss babe, if you ask me, to pick out 3. But say I picked out 2 new recipes for Pinterest to try this week, and, I will make sure to check in later this week and let you all know what I thought about them, or post a picture, whatever, and that sort of thing. Because I really think that the more we share about our journey of the ins and outs of the everyday, we're not only going to learn from each other, because what works for someone may work for you, but you're also going to be held more accountable. And I know that when I am my best challenger, so basically when I know that I'm showing up every day, I know that I'm meal planning, I know that I'm not because I could easily say, oh, look at this pretty salad, and take a picture and post it, but then go and eat some Reese cups off camera, so really truly saying, all right, this is the good, the bad, and the ugly. If I screwed up, I screwed up, but you know what? I'm not going to continue that cycle of self-sabotage. I'm going to just say, you know what? It is what it is, and move forward. And just seek that progress over perfection. So with that, a lot of that comes with mindset. And so if you haven't chosen a book to read, I highly, highly encourage you to choose one. And I made a post with some of my top 4 suggestions. So the Champagne Diet is really, really great. Then Made to Crave, which is one that I am listening to right now, and I love, I feel like some of the things that are so simple, have been epiphanies for me, and I had written some of the little quotes down, and I can't find them, so I will post them in the group as I read them, and yeah, but I don't have them for you tonight. So, and then there's the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins. And I actually posted a video about her talking earlier today. And then Facebook said that it usually shows me who sees posts. So I can tell you, I know when you're watching my posts and you aren't commenting, just so you know. I don't know if y'all know that. I know if you've seen it and just scrolled past and you not want to hold yourself accountable. But anyways, it didn't say that anybody had seen it. And I'm like, why didn't no one see that? I actually took time to write that out and stuff. So anyways, I bumped it, and I was like, Facebook said no one saw this. I want you to watch this. But Mel Robbins is amazing. And she came up with this easy concept of the 5-second rule. And even if you don't go read the book, watch that little video, because she's going to share how she came up with the concept and what the concept is. And I would love to know, and I put this in the post, how you, whether or not you think you can incorporate that into your your routine, and how you can, because it can be life-changing. Because I've used it sometimes, and sometimes I'm like, I'm not counting. And then it's like, oh yeah, just do it. And then the last book was the last book. Champagne Diet, Made to Crave. Was it You're a Badass? Yeah, You're a Badass, which is just in your face, you're a badass. It's awesome. So if you haven't picked a book, I would love for you to pick it. And if you want something completely different, that's totally fine. But those are just some suggestions that I love, and I know a lot of other women have read some of them in this group and can recommend. So with that, does anybody have any questions about their Beachbody On Demand, the meal plan, goals, meal planning? I rambled a lot tonight, but I guess it's like the first week of a new round. So it's like, all right, I've got my list. We need to go over this, this, and this, and this. So, and I'm feeling much better. So it's like, let's go.
Oh.
Man, Samantha, you look miserable. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm like half asleep. I'm tired.
I'm sorry that I put you to sleep.
No, I'm exhausted. I get up at 5 o'clock every morning now, so.
Oh my goodness. Well, I did see where I'm going to give you a little shout out. I saw where you did your workout like as soon as your kids left, right? I don't know what time it was, but you posted that. And I'm like, good for you, because it's so easy to put it off. And a lot of times it's better just to get it done as soon as you can. Like, and you were like, well, I should have done the dishes before because the dishes, I don't want to do them now. Well, honey, the dishes can always wait. Like, but I was just proud of you because I know, like, for me, choosing to do a workout, like, it's like choosing to climb a mountain. And that ain't fun.
Yeah, it was 8 o'clock this morning.
That's tough, but good for you. So has everyone else decided, like, when they're going to be doing their workouts, like what time is best for them?
I feel like at night after my boys go to bed is the most realistic. I've tried the whole get up and work out, and it never fails that one of my kids is up and trying to climb on me while I work out, and so at least I can go downstairs and kind of have a silent time and actually work out. So that's kind of the most realistic for me. It might not be the most ideal, but
Hey, here's the thing. Do not downplay it or minimize it one bit. You could so easily just sit on the couch and be like, you know what, I want to check out for the rest of the day. But you are making yourself a priority and taking care of yourself. And, like, you have to, like, congratulate yourself on that. Like, you're creating healthier habits that you didn't have before. Mm-hmm. So don't minimize it at all and be like, well, it could be better. No, like, girl, own it. And even if, like, one day your workout is at 2 o'clock and the next day, like, if like Tuesdays, you need to work out in the morning, and Thursdays, it's this time, like, you're putting thought and intention and effort into being healthier. And even if sometimes it just doesn't happen, it just doesn't happen. But I think even just being in this group, being willing to be held accountable, and being willing to be called out, like, if you haven't showed up in a few days or a week, like, that says, for me, that says a hell of a lot, because I could just as easily, honestly, go in a deep depression. Like, and I was thinking about this yesterday. I'm like, because I was just having a hard day and the weather was bad, and just this morning I was not feeling good. And I was like, you know what, like, I could just easily just turn off my Facebook, like, delete my account, never coach again, and, like, not have to be, not forced, but, like, continue having to work out or continue having to eat healthy. I could just throw it all away and no one would have to know, because I wouldn't be on social media anymore, and I wouldn't have to post what I'm eating or what doesn't make sense. Like, so you all have put yourself in a position where, like, yes, I want to be held accountable. It's kind of like when you have a tour guide, and, like, the tour guide's job is to keep everybody on their path, right? And a lot of times, if you're in a big city and you have this tour guide, well, when you go and on this tour, you get distracted by shiny, bright things and, like, glittery things. You're like, ooh, like, I want to go look at this. I want to go in this shop. And the tour guide's like, no, like, do not look at that. We do not have time to shop. You need to stay on this path so we can go like this and be, like, little sheep or cattle. And I don't know where I was going with that. So basically, you have agreed to have a tour guide or a mentor or a coach to keep you on that path. Now, does that mean you won't veer off and be like, ooh, I want a shiny unicorn. That is so cute. I want a new keychain. And who needs a shiny unicorn keychain? But if it's cute and glittery, I want it, you know? So it's like I can get very distracted by cheesecake and brownies and this and that. And so it's really good, like, that you've even put yourself in a position to be held accountable. Because I don't know if you had a support system, or if any of you all, you know, maybe you did have a support system before you got in the group. Like I did. Like, my husband is amazing. He absolutely amazing. But I'll tell you what, up until like the last 2 years or so, you want to know how he supported me and showed his love for me when I was stressed out? By bringing me milkshakes and bringing me cookies. You know, he knew that if I was having a hard day, he would go to Steak and Shake while, like, you know, because he can drive around on shift, and he'd go through Steak and Shake or McDonald's or whatever and bring me food home because it was my comfort. And God love him, you know, and now we've learned better. We've come a very long way in the last 2 or 3 years. And so, like, I had a support system, but it wasn't a healthy support system. And sometimes, you know, people just don't have that. And I know, like, in this group, like, if you've seen all my videos, like, I share everything in here, like, and it doesn't matter how dirty it is. You know, and I just hope that you I mean, I guess you could go blab it, but I mean, I don't know who would really care about my life if they don't know me. But so I just, you know, invite you all this to be your virtual diary, because these groups, like, they're very small, they're closed. And I really don't think that anybody would judge anybody else in this group. Like, because even though we're on different parts of our journey, like, we all realize that we all go through a lot of shit. And you know what? And although all of ours is all different, it all still stinks. And so we can all stink together. But anyways, just to kind of encourage you all, like, you know, acknowledge that you've taken that step. Even if you've been in 5 rounds of the academy, if you still take my offer and my invite to say, yeah, I want to do it again. Well, like, I mean, how awesome is that you're willing to do it again? You know, because I have some women are like, oh, I'll take a month out off. And I'm like, that's totally fine. Let me know when you're ready. Let me know what you need me to do as a coach. And then it's like, I reach out to them and then they, like, completely disappear. It's like, we can't be friends because they don't want to be held accountable anymore. And I'm like, hello? Like, so I don't know. That kind of maybe is more of a personal thing, because I've had a few people, like, just completely, like, not talk to me anymore because they don't want to be here. And I'm like, I don't know if they've just fallen off the wagon or they don't want to be held accountable. So you know, like, that's a huge thing to say, oh, okay, I'm willing to be in here. I'm willing to show up. I'm willing to show up not just for myself, but for my partner, for the rest of the ladies, and to do the challenges, and to put yourself first for once, unapologetically, because you know that the more that you care for yourself, the more you're going to be able to give out and pour out to everybody else around you.
The other, like, a week or so ago, when I was starting to get, like, my pain and my workouts were depleting just because it was really painful to do, I was messaging Amanda, who was my accountability partner last month. And my husband kind of just made a joke, well, does she know that you haven't worked out in 4 days? And I'm like, yeah, she does. That's why I have it. And he was, like, kind of shocked. I'm like, I'm not going to lie to her. She's my accountability partner. She knows it all. Like, I'll tell her when I'm doing a great job and I'll tell her when I'm sucking at it. But if I lie to her and basically, like, lying to myself, I'm not going to put on this show that it's all great when it was a weak point for me.
And that's the thing, like, this group, obviously, it's not a license to, like, throw in the towel and, like blow caution to the wind and, like, not do anything. But, you know, really seeking that progress over that perfection. And sometimes progress is not going back 5 steps. So by that, I mean, progress could be in the mental part. You know, maybe you don't work out for 5 days, but you've had a lot of crap going on in your life, and typically you would go binge eat. But you haven't binge eat. Like, you haven't given in to those cravings and those desires. Does that make sense? And so, on the outside, that may look like, oh, well, you haven't done anything for 5 days. You haven't worked out. You haven't meal planned. But guess what? If this had happened last month or 6 months ago, you would have been through every drive-through. You would have had every cookie, from Walmart in your pantry, and you would have eaten it all. Does that make sense? So it's not necessarily the things that you can see. A lot of it is the things that you can't see. And I think those are really important. Those non-scale things are really important to share with one another because they are valid. They're just as valid as a number on the scale, as a measurement, or as a picture. Those mental blocks that are able to overcome and be able to grow, honestly, far outweigh anything that could show me on the scale, because the scale is just a number of, the reflection of your gravitational pull, and I feel like, that's why I really want everybody to read a book or listen to a book or whatever, get a book from someone, because it really is, you got to train your mind and your thought process while we're training our habits and our bodies and stuff. Okay, good night. Does that make sense? So so not only having truth with yourself with everything, but also being laced with a little bit of grace is kind of saying, okay, got to have the truth portion. All right, I know what I need to do, but giving yourself some grace and realize, you know what, I'm seeking progress. And when I don't get to that point where I want to be, I'm also going to be realistic, be all right, but these are the things that I've done that have shown progress. And I'm going to celebrate in those victories, which is what my posts for my Lift 4 workout, or my results were. I didn't see a lot of the results that I wanted to see on the scale or whatever. So I had to focus a lot on the non-scale, which helps. But, I had a big ugly cry, after I did my measurements and my weight and everything, big ugly cry. And it was, But anyway, so I made a post about it and I felt better. So but anyways, I'll probably get cut off any minute. But is there anything else, does anybody need anything? If so, we can do a one-on-one, or I can look up stuff and share it in the group. No? All right, well, I'm so excited. I am pumped that so many women are wanting to do Lift 4, or doing 2B Mindset, or whatever you've chosen to do. So please don't forget the Beachbody Challenge, meal planning, emailing results, and all that good stuff. So I will make a post in the group about whatever I said I would. I'll have to probably go back and watch what I said I was going to post. I forget already. But yeah, so I'm excited, and I hope that you all have a good night.
I think it was about meal planning.
It was about meal planning, but what about meal planning?
I think it was